What's up, YouTube? So, everybody has been playing the Elden Ring DLC. Now, when Elden Ring came out, I bought Elden Ring on PlayStation, right? So, I ended up not playing it because I really don't be playing my PlayStation that much. But when I was in my old house, I had my PlayStation sitting right next to my computer. So, I mean, I just usually had to hook it up, had to like unplug wires because I didn't have my setup set up in a way that I could just pop my PlayStation on and stream it. So like I was lazy, right? I did play it a little bit, right? I did play it a little bit, and I have some videos back from when I was playing it on my YouTube channel, and it's there. But like I haven't played it since then. I haven't played Elden Ring since Elden Ring released. So I then again bought the game for on Steam because I have a Steam Deck and I was like, yo, I can play this on my Steam Deck. Maybe I could, chill on the couch or chill in the bed and play some Elden Ring. But like I ended up just not doing that either because, not enough time, so many things to do. So yesterday, since everybody had been playing Elden Ring, I'm like, dang man, maybe I should play some Elden Ring. But like I realized that like because of the toxicity of how people play Elden Ring, it kind of affects how I play the game. I don't really know like what I should be doing, and it's an open world game, right? So like I'm like, all right, well, I want to explore, but like I want to get through the game also. So it's like, all right, well, I want to get weapons, I want to level up and stuff, but I don't know like the proper way because it's not the standard way of like leveling up in a game. At least not to my knowledge. Like usually you kill enemy gives you experience points. You kill enough enemies, you get enough experience points, and you just level up, and then your stats go up. Or but in this game it's like you have to kill a bunch of enemies and then I guess you take those souls or whatever the currency is that you get from the enemies you kill, and you use those to improve your stats, right? Like you use those to improve your stats. So it's like, and I don't really be paying attention to what stats I'm supposed to increase. Like, so I really haven't like thought about it, right? I haven't thought about it that much. I went around to a couple of places. I think I beat like the first boss. I think it was Margit or something like that, right? I think I beat the first boss on PlayStation, but I haven't played since. So everything I knew went out the window. Um, so I wanted to watch this video. Now it's not anything about like uh it's not anything about like what's the best gear to use and what's the best sword to use and all that kind of stuff, right? But like I mean I would like to know some like cool weapons and stuff that I can go get and use to fight things. But then I feel like some stuff it'd be like, oh, go get this weapon and you can use this weapon to one shot every enemy, and it's like I don't necessarily want to do that. I got not necessarily. I'm exaggerating, um, but yeah, like so there's this thing called there's this video, Elden Ring's most used mechanics are a trap, right? So like people roll a lot, I roll a lot, right? And I think I do panic roll right now sometimes. I've been literally sitting there yesterday and I was fighting the tree sentinel because I'm like, okay, let me just fight the tree sentinel. Let me try to beat the tree sentinel before I do anything else. Why? I have no idea. I was just like, I remember I beat it before and I was like, I played a samurai and that's what I'm playing again now. And I'm like, let me go try to fight the tree sentinel and see if I can beat him again. And I sat there for a good amount of time and was just pissed. I was pissed because at first, I wasn't doing barely any damage, and then I would get to the point where I was getting him down 50%, 50, 55, 60%, and then dying, and I'm just like, all right, okay, am I wasting my time here? And so I was like, I don't know whether I should just continue on, go do other stuff, and then come back and fight the tree sentinel because I literally I don't even have my mount yet. Like, I don't even have the horse yet. I literally just came about the thing and was like, oh, let me go fight the tree sentinel. So I want to check out this video about about rolling or mechanics that are used in the game as a trap. And I mean, this could be also toxic to like how I'm supposed to play the game. But let me know, is any of this stuff relevant? And I guess I can judge for myself whether it's relevant or not, and whether I'll be using it, because I don't see myself not rolling. Now, if he gives me a way to like, this is why you shouldn't roll as much, and you can do some stuff, and because you could do some stuff and maybe avoid rolling a little bit, and you know, maybe get around some moves a little bit in different ways, maybe that'll help me out. But let's check out this video. It's here.
There are so many mechanics most people don't engage with because the game really doesn't do a good job at explaining them. But trust me, using just one of these can make it
I don't think the game has to do a good job of explaining.
Way less painful.
Not in this game.
Rolling is bad. We learned that jumping is useful more than 2 years.
Okay. If a player is two-handing a large weapon, their arms rest higher up, making them just barely harder to hit. Safe zone, safe zone. Huh? What you mean, safe zone? Don't tell me that the bottom half of your body is just invincible and the only place you can get is a hit up top of your head, or the top is okay. Let's find out. Let's see what he
years ago when Zali made a video on it. So recently, my curiosity got the best of me, making me test every single attack in the game. My god, to see which ones can be jumped over, and as cliche as it might sound, you won't believe some of these. Okay, hand. But why would you want to jump instead of rolling anyways? Rolling has immunity frames and jumping doesn't, after all. Let's take Tree Sentinel as an example. Most of us have fought Tree Sentinel and felt like the second phase attacks are just a little unfair.
Nah. I like so when I was fighting Tree Sentinel last night, right? You know, the first couple of times I forgot what attacks he had, right? So like I can't dodge attacks with timings that I don't know, right? So then I do remember that, you know, the one where he runs at you, he just slashes. And so I was like, all right, well, I got hit the first time, and then the next time after that, I don't get hit by that move at all when I dodge through it, right? So like I dodge right through it, and I'm good, I'm cool, right? In invul frames, right? And then like after I started getting him down like half health, and he started doing the second phase attacks where he starts trying to hit you with this shield, I don't think I ever got hit by any of the second phase attacks. Like it would be because like I either rolled too late, or I drank a potion trying to be greedy and got hit, or like just different ways. Or I rolled wrong, and I rolled in the wrong direction. Because like there's one attack that he has where he jumps up and he swings down to the side, and then he pokes or something like that, right? And I noticed that when I dodge into the front of the horse, right, from the like if you're facing him to your like the left side, your left, so like you're looking at the horse on your left, I dodge to the left side of the front, like the front of the horse, right? Let's hope that makes sense. So like basically in this side of the horse, and so I would dodge roll into the horse, and he would miss with the first swing, and then I would do like my skill swing or whatever, and then I would not get hit by the second. You know, I would not get hit by the second hit if I'm standing in the right spot. So I was always able to get into that spot, not get hit by the second thing, and do my big attack, and then get out of the way of the second, or the third attack, right? So like and then like after that, like he started jumping in the air and doing stuff, and I don't really remember having trouble like getting hit by those attacks. So like I don't necessarily think they're unfair. But if you can tell me another way that I can go about dodging these attacks that's a little bit easier, please do let me know.
Jumps and slams into the ground, which creates a shockwave, so you need to dodge 2 hitboxes in total if you want to roll into it up close. You need to roll late enough to iframe the shield and still have iframes left for the shockwave, which is brutal. You don't have that many iframes. But if you jump, you don't get hit. Even better, it gives you the opportunity for the fan favorite jumping heavy attack, which does a ton of health damage and stance damage. And jumping also consumes less stamina than rolling. When you jump, your lower body becomes immune to damage. That includes the legs and even part of the stomach, but not the hands hanging off to the side. The immunity starts pretty much immediately, even when you're still visually on the ground, and lasts 60 frames, which is a whole second compared to 20 roll. It starts faster, it lasts longer.
Hitboxes, just like fighting games. Well, I mean, all the games have hitboxes and hurtboxes and stuff like that. But like, to see that people are actually using the hitbox data to learn the fights and learn what they can do better to get around things.
Here's some examples of
pretty
actually
good.
useful examples. Pretty much every AoE, which includes Radagon, Godric, Radan, Malekith, Godfrey, Fortissax, Niall, Dragon
Oh, I learned something.
and Tree Sentinel. You can do this really cool dodge on Margit where you jump over his hammer when he goes into phase 2 and then walk behind him and jump the AoE. A majority of Godric's attacks can be jumped. Shocker there. You can jump over Elden Beasts and Rykard's sword swings and even the thrust attacks, although those are really hard to do. You can dodge Melania's grab and thrust.
I would have
attack
never
by jumping
thought
to the
about
side.
that.
Margit and Morgot's tail swipes are really easy to jump. Godskin Noble's ground slam is usually very annoying to time but can easily be jumped. Grave Warden allows for some very flashy jumps.
This is a great video.
Red Wolf's second swing and spin attacks can be jumped, which is cool. The Malekith dodge is just too fun to not do. Crucible Knights have a lot of attacks that can be dodged.
What a fucking Chad, bro.
My favorite is this one. There are 2 attacks that can be jumped on Black Knives. And there are a lot of attacks you can jump away from rather than over, like these.
And it's not like this is gonna make me just beat these fights super easily, because I would have to also learn to fight and learn the other moves that they have.
Jumping will be a big part as well. And pro tip, if you jump in quick succession, the follow-up jumps will be tiny little baby jumps, but if you guard while jumping, you can prevent that from happening. Trust me, nothing feels as good as guard jumping up a slope. You are so fast. Strathing is another alternative to rolling that you should always consider. If an enemy does a slow overhead or a thrusting attack, you can usually sprint or walk to the side and avoid it, which consumes next to no stamina and doesn't lock you in any sort of animation, meaning you have a larger window to punish. It also looks badass. I mean, look at this, dude. The only problem is that some of the best strafes require being locked off instead of looking at the boss. Locking on in general is a clever little trap FromSoft baits everyone into.
Hey, yo!
While you are locked on, you can only move based on the boss's position. Holding left while locked on will make you walk circles around the boss, and while locked off, you can freely walk to the left. You see how severely that limits your movement? This is why locking off is genuinely a chat move. In some cases, it even breaks bosses completely, and in Sekiro, locking off and attacking with the tip of your blade made it so that enemies couldn't parry you, which kind of defeats the purpose of the whole game. I won't go too much into detail since it's pretty advanced, but there are some easy attacks anyone can use it on, like Melania's flower attack. Just lock off, walk around her, take a little jog, and
Yo!
it looks so stupid. If there's one thing you can take away from this, is that you shouldn't be locked on if a boss is above you. It's just going to give you a headache and even limit you from going right under the boss. Which one of these do you think will do more damage?
I might not listen
An
to
unupgraded Holy Mace.
I might try to figure that out
broadsword.
without...
This is obviously just an extreme example, but knowing the enemy's weakness...
I'm gonna have to get punished for it a couple of times before...
quickly. In the case of those who live...
Before I learn my lesson.
AKA the undead enemies. An unupgraded mace with Sacred Blade is literally all you need for the entire game. Combine it with Last Rite, and you can't even tell the mace has not been upgraded once. Bonus points for Sacred because it makes it so that skeletons die for good. I highly recommend having one of these with you. Upgrade it as high as possible, but don't stress it. I mean, plus 10 is probably more than enough, but you can also get it higher, obviously. And bring Golden Epitaph for anything undead. You really won't regret it. A rule of thumb is that when fighting flesh, you want to use Slash and Fire. When fighting light armor, you want to use Piercing and Lightning. And when fighting heavy armor, you want to use Blunt and, well, Lightning. You can't go wrong with Lightning. Anything dead or spectral is weak to Holy. Basically nothing is weak to magic.
Yo, these are Titans. Can't tell me anything else.
Effects are obviously
they are from Attack on Titan.
Like Elden Beast, where there really is no weakness at all, just use Godslayer Flame. It deals
I remember the first time like fighting those Titan-looking things, and I definitely got like murdered. But then like once I figured out how to fight them, I just would kill them all the time. Like it was like that. Like that's one thing about Elden Ring. It is definitely a rewarding game. Like once you learn how to beat something, and then it feels very easy to you. It's kind of the same thing as Monster Hunter, right? Like Monster Hunter is a game that I play a lot of. Elden Ring and like Souls games are definitely harder than Monster Hunter. I feel like I feel like they're maybe in game Monster Hunter is not that hard. I mean, excuse me, in game Monster Hunter is harder, not harder than Elden Ring, but like probably um within the same like wheelhouse as like Souls games. But the beginnings of Monster Hunter games are usually like pretty easy, unless you go really far into the past of Monster Hunter games. Monster Hunter games in the past were pretty much as hard as Souls games, in my opinion.
Dagger can do thousands
Like
of damage
through and
to
through.
NG plus Elden Beast. Pretty cool. But not just elemental damage matters. Special weaknesses are just as important. So here's some examples. Fasten your seatbelts, boys. You are about to be mind blown. Deathbirds are extremely vulnerable to holy paws. Watchdogs go mad if hit by enough crystal darts, which can make the double watchdog fight a walk in the park. You can bait this combo and jump over the third swing every time, or parry it, for an easy kill. Big flowers start wailing when hit with fire and can be slapped pretty easily. Birds fall over when hit with gravity spells. Land octopus can have their arms cut off
Gravity
one by one to make
spells.
them squirm harmlessly. Land squirts explode when hit with poison. Trolls stun if shot in the face and start...
I figured that out.
Flame chariots can be executed Sekiro style from above.
I didn't remember it, but I rember figuring it out after I've seen it, because I was like, dude, I shot him in the face, and he fucking was like, ah! I was like, oh, you don't like that, huh?
I have no idea why, but it feels really cool to do. These guys are weak to lightning in a very weird way, where they will always stagger after 5 hits of lightning, no matter the source. Glintstone blades kill the invisible scarab.
Yo, what the hell? That's Virgil swords, blistering swords.
Incapacitated by fire. Barricade shield makes the misbegotten look very pathetic. And it's honestly a really good Ash of War in general for anything if you got counter. Falling Star Beasts and Estelle take a lot of extra damage from gravity weapons and equipment. The Stormblade Ash of War goes really hard for imps and birds in early game. I might have even forgotten some. It goes without saying that the same applies to you though. Who do you think is tankier, Armor Boy or Naked Man? Let's imagine that Godric is Mesmer for a second. I know this is very insulting to Mesmer, but whatever. Without any equipment, his fire breath hits pretty hard. With one of the best armor sets in the game, it doesn't do nearly as much, but in comparison to wearing no armor and using the right buffs, it's insane. It basically just tickles me. And all I used was flame-resistant talismans and a flame liver. I can still light roll. Mesmer will do a lot of fire damage, just saying. Generally, I would always have 2 defense talismans. The Dragon Crest is pretty much always useful because there's a lot of physical damage in the entire game, and the second slot is whatever element you're up against. Then, at 60 vigor, I recommend the Crimson Sea talisman, but that's mostly personal preference. And the 4th slot is for damage. Trust me when I say, after seeing the previous stuff, that this is not over-preparing. Shit hits hard.
All right, so I'm not gonna watch the rest of it. Most of the rest of it was like weakness stuff, like when to hide and stuff like that. There was some other things. There's some like DLC stuff that's talking about the DLC. Well, I don't have the DLC yet, so I was just gonna like kind of like play the regular game. I even bought me a new controller. I bought this very nice BFG controller. I'm gonna probably use it for a bunch of different stuff, but for now it's just for Elden Ring. I wanted to treat myself. I've actually wanted this controller for a really long time, and I don't use controller often. But for Elden Ring, I feel like Elden Ring just works better with a controller. Part of the reason was that it does not. Okay, so I probably wouldn't have bought this controller, right? But part of the reason I bought it is because it wouldn't switch the button icons from controller to keyboard, so that I would know which button I was looking at, right? I know which button, but there's a setting that's not in the controls settings, I believe, and I don't know. I found it by accident, and I was like, oh, that's how you switch the button icons from controller to keyboard and mouse. But before I found that, I just bought a controller, and I was like, I don't feel like looking at the screen with button icons and trying to remember what button I set to what. Now, I do use the Azeron, so it doesn't technically it doesn't have those buttons on the Azeron, right? Like I don't have Q on the Azeron somewhere. I don't have a shift button, but I remember where I put the shift button, where I put the Q button, where I put the E button, right? But having Q, E, shift, and all that kind of stuff didn't matter because it didn't reflect those buttons on the screen. So I ended up getting myself a controller. I already have controllers. Like I had a PlayStation 5 controller, but I wanted this controller and I really like it. So I'm using this one. I usually I like having a nice controller. I like having a nice controller. I don't use controller often, but I like having a nice one for when I do. That's about it. The beginning portion of the video, like where he was saying, basically, like when to jump and showing off all the different ways you can jump and how you can strafe around things. That is very interesting to me. That is giving me like another way to use, movement other than rolling to get through things. So like that's another way you can like use movement to learn the fight, because like I would have never thought to, strafe around some of this stuff, because they have like all of these enemies have these super big swings, these super big weapons, and I would have never thought like, oh, I can just like walk around the correct way and it will mess up how they're about to attack you and they will just miss you, right? I was like, I need to dodge through this attack and use the invul frames or get far enough away from them so they miss and stuff like that. Or I never thought like, oh, I'd be able to jump over these big ass attacks. Didn't know that your bottom half of your character was safe when you jump in the air. I had no idea. So, I'm glad I actually watched this video. And if you learned something, please do go give this gentleman a like on his video, give him a subscription, and if you liked my video, like my reaction to his video, please do like my video. Also, give me a subscription. I thank you guys for 1,000 subscribers, and I'll probably be messing around in Elden Ring. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm gonna stream it. I don't think it's worth it for me to stream it. You know what I mean? Because like I suck. Like I suck at it. Like I don't think anybody wants to watch me play Elden Ring. So I probably will end up not doing that. And maybe I'll post some Elden Ring on my YouTube. Maybe I'll think about it, because like if I do commit to doing that, then I'm most likely not gonna beat the game. I'm most likely not gonna beat the game. I'll do as much as I can. I'll play as much as I can. But we got Zenless Zone Zero coming up next week, and I'm gonna be streaming and playing that game when it comes out on the 4th of July. And then we got 1.1 of Withering Waves coming out in 2 days. So I don't know how much Elden Ring. Maybe I'll get some get on some Elden Ring. Maybe I'll post up a couple of things before 1.1 drops. We'll see. But I definitely did learn some things about Elden Ring, and I'll probably be watching some other content about Elden Ring so that I can really get an understanding of how to play the game and be able to have a little bit more fun with the game. Because right now, I just don't know what I'm doing, and I'm only fighting the Tree Sentinel. And like I'm only fighting the Tree Sentinel. Maybe I'll start taking taking the path of the little golden trail to go through the game and actually like experience some more stuff. But I probably won't get anywhere near or not anywhere near, but I probably won't get as far as I did before. Or if I do, I'll probably get to the same space that I was at before I stopped playing the game. But I'm definitely gonna start a brand new file, even though I've only fought the Tree Sentinel. But I want to do it for the content for the channel if I do. So if you see it pop up, you'll see it. All right. I'm about to get out of here. Peace. Mm-mm.